again from sunny Bakewell here in the Peak District, and I am here with Derek behind me over there, and we are starting a route today which is going to take us about 2 days, and it's called the White to Dark Way. Now it starts here in the White Peak of the Peak District and heads over to the Dark Peak, and it's traditionally done over 3 days. The route was designed by a magazine here in the UK called Country Walking Magazine to celebrate their 25th year anniversary. However, they couldn't get it exactly 25 miles because they just had to add a few extra miles on because it was so beautiful. And it's to celebrate the diversity here of the Peak District and all the beautiful different landscapes across it. So it's going to show you some of the best bits. And it starts here in Bakewell at Bakewell Bridge, which is behind me here, which is a 5-arch 13th century bridge. So it starts here in Bakewell and heads all the way over to Hope in a little bit of a kind of northward direction, but it does loop round some different sites. So let's get started. And this is the signs that we will be following. I love how very quickly when leaving Bakewell you're rewarded with all these glorious views of the White Peak. And the White Peak is renowned for all the rolling limestone plateau, and then it's dissected with limestone dales, and it is so contrasting compared to the Dark Peak, which is what I'm really looking forward to seeing along the route. So we left around about 10 AM from Bakewell at the bridge there. It took us a while to get here this morning. We left home about 6 AM and we had to get 2 trains and a bus. And we are going to take 2 days to do this trip. So I said earlier, it's officially a 3-day route, and I'll mention where's really good to stop on each day if you want to follow the 3-day route. But we're hoping to wild camp somewhere about halfway. So we will see where we get to today. It's just a matter of hiking until we want to stop, ideally halfway, and then doing the Dark Peak section tomorrow. But it's certainly a glorious day today for it. I think there's some rain planned for tomorrow, but that's never so bad on the second day. Right, let's carry on walking over here and see some of these beautiful views on the way to the Monsal trail. Ooh. We've been walking on the Monsal trail for just under 2 miles, and we're about to drop down into a little dale called Watercombe Jolly Dale. But before we continue, it's time for a little snack, and appropriately I've got a naked bar which is a Bakewell tart flavour. We are on a little bit of a detour at the moment, where we should have turned off at Crestbrook Dale, where I literally was having my snack earlier. They've decided to close the crossing over the river, so you've got to go all the way down to Litton Mill and then cross over that way, which is what we've done, and now we're heading back up this lovely valley here with Lots of fields and trees around. It is very peaceful, but a little bit out of the way, so we are looking to join the trail very soon. We are now back on the trail, so it's about a 2-mile additional detour that we had to do then, and we missed out Crestbrook Mill, which is unfortunate, but it has been a nice walk all the same, walking through some lovely little village. And now we have entered a little woody area, and it is filled with wild garlic. So all this green down here is wild garlic, and it smells absolutely divine. The young leaves are the tastiest. So there we go. That is delicious. Should we get some for dinner later?
No, thank you.
Go on, try some.
Strong.
It's nice though, isn't it? If you like garlic. We are just arriving in the little village of Litton, which has got a post office and a pub called the Red Lion, which is apparently highly recommended. It's a great place to stop if you're wanting to do this over 3 days. So it's about 7 miles from the start point to here. And also you get a load of stormtroopers for company as well. The most bizarre thing I've ever seen in the back of a van before. Roasted vegetable and pesto wraps is on the lunch today. We have left Litton and heading to the next village, which is Wardlow Myers, and on the right here is Peter's Stone, which is a limestone reef, and it's a bit of a road walk now down to the next village, but we have got some gorgeous views either side of us with all these great little limestone rocks jutting out in the landscape.
Take it off.
Go on, you can get through. Going forward.
I can't get stuck forward as well.
Wriggle. to help.
No, it's alright. I'm taking it off.
A little word of warning, when you're approaching a village called Fooley all the way to Eyam, there must be probably what, 20, 30 at least that we've gone through. All these funny little stiles and gates, and every single one of them seems to be different. There's one up there which is so narrow and then goes to a steep drop, and then we've got little ones like this. It's a gate and a kissing gate at the same time. Some of them you've got to take your backpack off for, some of them you're climbing over, and some you just get squashed in the middle of. It's like an obstacle course. It is quite challenging. It's okay, don't get scared. Hello? Can we pass? Can we come through, please? Hello? Hi. Hello? Hi.
Oh, so used to going through them, I thought may as well.
On the post in the middle of the screen is a little owl. I can't zoom in any more than this, but that is proper cute. We couldn't resist a little detour to the village of Eyam. So on the actual trail itself we should have crossed over and bypassed a bit of Eyam, but we ended up turning right and heading up along past all the plague cottages and up to the church here. Now here in Eyam it was devastated by the plague in 1665. Some cloth was sent from London to a local tailor here, which brought the plague, and it killed most of the village. But they took the noble decision to isolate themselves from the rest of the county and the rest of the countries round and bury their own dead, so they managed to keep it contained. If you ever visit here and want to know more about everything that went on with the plague, there is a museum called Eyam Museum, but it is currently closed due to COVID restrictions. But I think it said on the website they're opening at the very end of May 2021. I think they said the 28th of May, so hopefully they'll be open again soon. We made our way up from Eyam, which was a little bit of a steep climb, wasn't it? Not, it wasn't terrible, but we did take our time, and it was through kind of like a wooded area that had a lot of gravel. But we made it to the top, walked on the road a little bit, and then over Bowl Hill, and now we are at the top of William Hill. I think it's Sir William Hill, and there's a post back there showing us where the high spot is, and there's a trig point just further along. But we are heading in this direction across all the moorlands, and we are going to be soon looking for somewhere to wild camp for the night. And the clouds are starting to come over, so we have a feeling that rain might be in the air at some point, but I can't see it imminently, so we should be lucky tonight at least. On tonight's menu we have homemade lentil dal, which I made the other day, with some aubergine and courgettes. I'll show you on the camera what it looks like. So there we have courgettes, aubergines, and I've just made this with red lentils, onion, garlic, lots of turmeric, a few more herbs and spices. So that's going there, so that's just heating up at the moment. And then in this one we have some couscous, which is lentil and coriander, so I just added some hot water to that, and that is currently hydrating as we speak. We have had our delicious dinner, and I just realised I've not shown you around camp. So this is where we are camping for the night, in like a nice little sheltered area in a groove, and it is absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to take you up just above here to show you the views. And there we go, right on the top of the world. It's absolutely amazing up here. A little bit chilly, but it's a great little camp spot.
How come the stars come to shine when it's dark from so far away and show us where we are? What makes the sun go to sleep every night, and what's it dreaming of? I wonder.
Good morning! It is bright and early, and we have just got up and are having our porridge this morning. And today it is porridge with chia seeds, sultanas and cinnamon and oat milk. So we're going to enjoy this. We're just packing down the tent at the moment and then heading off on our trip today. I couldn't resist showing you this sunrise. Just before we left this morning, you can see all the rays of light coming from the sky. It's absolutely beautiful. But camp is down here, and all that we have got down there is our bags, which we're going to be taking. Obviously we have left absolutely no trace, and we didn't even do a fire or anything last night because there hasn't been a lot of rain recently, and there's been a lot of moorland fires, which I just didn't want to take any chances with. So we were really careful last night, but it was cold. It was cold last night, but we had a decent enough sleep. And today we've got a really exciting day. We're heading into the Dark Peak. So we are going en route to somewhere called Hathersage, but round before we get there, we're going to be going over some stepping stones over a river. Then I think we head over to, let me try and remember, Stanage Edge. So we're walking across all the cliff tops there, ending up at somewhere called Ladybower Reservoir, where the dam busters used to practice. And then we're heading over the last ascent of the day, which will be called Win Hill. and then after that we head over down into Hope. So I think it's about a 14-mile day, 13-mile day. We did about 14 miles yesterday, but obviously with our additional it ended up being about 17 with the detour. But it should be a lovely day, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it doesn't rain too badly.
How come the sky sometimes hides behind the clouds? Maybe it's just like me, a little bit scared of heights. Why does the rain always keep on pouring down when it's grey outside? It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder. Undressed when it's cold, and don't they miss the leaves they left behind? Could it be to make the ground shine like gold until winter comes? Until winter comes, until winter comes. It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder.
The views are really opening up now, and you can see in the far distance, if I can get this right, over about there is where we're going to be heading, and that is somewhere called Stanage Edge. But first of all, what we're doing is heading down to the River Wye to cross over some stepping stones, and then that goes round over to the town of Hathersage, which is kind of behind me in this direction, so it kind of loops round. So it has been a lovely hike this morning, and it's going to start getting a bit steeper soon as we climb up onto the edges, but so far the weather's playing ball. Just come across these sheep and they have got fantastic eyebrows, they look brilliant. We have just reached these stepping stones, and I said River Wye earlier and it's not, it's the River Derwent, so apologies for that. But these are the stepping stones that we are now having to cross before we get into Hathersage. So this is a bit of a symbolic crossing because it kind of goes from the white peak to the dark peak. So the terrain is certainly going to start to change once we start climbing out of Hathersage. We have started the ascent out of Hathersage, which is a fantastic place to stay if you're wanting to do this trip over 3 days, because from Litton to Hathersage it's about 9 miles. Now, Charlotte Bronte stayed in Hathersage Vicarage in 1845, and she came to visit a hall that I'm coming up to now called North Lees Hall, and she was so enchanted by the grandeur of it that she decided to set it in her novel Jane Eyre, where Mr. Rochester lived with his wife, and she called it Thornfield Hall. So that's coming up shortly, just after what is known as Bronte Cottages. We have just passed North Lees and are about to climb up Stanage Edge, which starts around about here for us today. It's a scarp of millstone grit that arcs around the top of Hathersage for about a 15-mile area, and it really is an outstanding place to come hiking. However, just before I climb up there, I am having a little snack, and this one is called Plantastic. It's a lemon and turmeric flapjack, and we got some Lucasades from the garage. A little bit of energy. I normally like to just have water, but I'm feeling like I need the energy today. We have made it to the top of Stanage Edge, and it wasn't too bad a climb up actually. It was quite pleasant. I'm going to just show you the edge down here. Oh. So this is all the rocks here that you can see from the bottom, and over here in the distance now, let me see if I can try and point this out for you. There is something pointing up in the middle. I think it's around about there, and that's Sir William Hill, where we actually camped last night. And over there is going to be our end point, which is the Valley of Hope. Over here in the distance, I'm probably pointing in all the wrong places, but there's a load of trees on the right hand side, and you go above it, I think it's about there, which is Win Hill, I think. I'll double check the footage. If I'm wrong, I'll let you know. And that is where we're heading. But first of all, what we're going to do is walk along the ridge here, all along the Stanage Edge to the end, and then drop down. Just getting to the summit of Stanage Edge, and that in the distance there is classed as High Neb, and that stands at 458 metres, which is 1,053 feet. So it's the highest point on Stanage Edge, and below it you won't be able to see yet, but I will zoom in. There's lots of old millstones that were just thrown over and discarded over the top when they were no longer needed up here. It's starting to rain! It's got ever so windy and cold up here on Stanage Edge, but luckily we're just getting to a point now where we drop down, and then what we're going to be doing is, I'll spin you around, heading over to Ladybower Reservoir, which you can see there in the distance. You can actually see our track in front of us now, so what we're going to be doing is walking along this track down here to the road, and then following it along there, and there's a track, let me just zoom in, over here, there we go, that leads up that way, round there, and then what we're going to be doing is dropping down into a wooded area, reaching Ladybower Reservoir here, walking alongside it, and then what we will be doing is climbing up Win Hill up there, and then at that point we get to the very top, descend into Hope. We are here at Ladybower Reservoir. All we have to do now is climb up this hill, which is Win Hill, which is just what you want at the end of a long walk. It has been so lovely walking around Ladybower Reservoir, and in this valley is where the Lancaster bombers Dambuster Squadron used to practice for their raids on Germany. And here is a plug hole. It's called a plug hole. It's just basically an overflow for the water. But it is such a gorgeous place to walk around, and we have been so lucky today that it's been so quiet, because normally this is a really busy area to walk around. So it does help to go midweek. We are now on the last part of the hike, and that is climbing up Win Hill, which is 462 metres. And it got quite cold down at Ladybower Reservoir. We've had a right mixed bag of weather today, but walking up this hill is certainly going to warm us up. We made it to the top of Win Hill, yay! We are at the trig point and we have fantastic views, so I'm not going to speak anymore and I'm just going to show you the views before we head down to Hope. We have arrived in Hope and we're currently taking shelter in the train station because the heavens just completely opened. So sorry we couldn't show you more of Hope, but it has been an amazing hike, hasn't it?
Yes.
It has been so good. It has been a perfect 2 days, and anyone thinking of doing this route, I would highly recommend it. I found it quite magical because it's not that well known, it's not that well trodden, and if you come in the week, I don't think you'll hardly see another person. It's got so much variety, it just gives you everything, and it changes scenery throughout the whole route, so it really does give you a real good glimpse of the Peak District. So our train is just pulling up, so we will say goodbye for now and see you on our next adventure. Goodbye!